Channel 11 News digs deeper.
There have been issues and delays with tens of thousands of ballots.
We want to make sure that your vote counts here on Channel 11 News.
We came out to the headquarters here in Cleveland to get answers from Midwest Direct.
Count on Channel 11 News.
When it comes to weddings and things like that, there's a lot of been there, done that. So you've really got to push it. Like this photographer. This here is Wellington Barbosa. Got a pretty cool location. Looks like it's almost magic hour. The couple's there looking lovely. They're right here in between these beautiful fields. It's gonna be a cracking picture. But do you hear that? There's this little dot in the distance, and it's getting closer and closer.
Oh no.
Oh, hurry up and get this shot.
Move.
Oh, don't worry, guys. This was all part of the plan. Yeah, what you've got here is this plane goes overhead. It essentially baptizes the couple with this huge amount of water, and the shot's gonna be incredible.
So what was the intention behind that shot?
To look cool, because everyone else has got
When you want news from where you live,
watch Channel 11 News at 5.
Now, Channel 11 News starts with breaking news.
In the last hour, the Allegheny County Health Department has released the latest COVID cases, the number of COVID cases. I'm Peggy Finnegan.
I know, I'm Gordon Lesh. In the last 48 hours, 177 new cases were reported. The cases come from tests taken between October 15th and the 25th. And the State Health Department just reported around 1,400 new cases statewide. That is 21 days in a row of more than 1,000 new cases, including Friday's record of more than 2,200 cases. Despite the big numbers, State Secretary of Health, Dr. Rachel Levine, says hospitals are better prepared.
The important point to emphasize is that our medical care is much better. So patients are sick, but our care of the patients is much better now because we've learned so much about the virus. For example, approximately 30% of patients who were hospitalized in the spring were on a ventilator. Right now in Pennsylvania, that's about 10.5%, and that's actually less than the national average.
Dr. Levine says the health department is seeing new cases in all age groups and says each of us has a collective responsibility to practice the health safety guidelines to control the spread of the virus.
Severe Weather Team 11 meteorologist Danielle Dozier joins us now.
Yeah, and Danielle, some parts of the area are seeing some light rain right now.
Yeah, we still have some light rain ongoing at this noon hour. A little bit here in Allegheny County, a couple up in Clarion County, and then northeastern Indiana County. But some light rain around Pittsburgh right now. Also right up there along the turnpike, portions of Washington County, just east of Washington. A little bit of light rain at this hour, but look at the view here outside. It is just gross, isn't it? We've got an overcast sky. We've been dealing with drizzle here in Pittsburgh, and a temperature right now with 50 degrees. Visibility is reduced in spots everywhere where you see this gray shaded color, including Washington with a visibility of 6 miles. That's because we have the low clouds, the fog out there, and some patchy drizzle that we will be tracking through the rest of the day today in spots. I'll have your timeline here for the rain as we head through the rest of the day today, and we'll talk an even bigger weather system that could drop some heavy rain later in the week coming up.
A legal dispute has been settled between two Republican congressional candidates and the Allegheny County Board of Elections. Last week, Allegheny County said 29,000 voters got the wrong ballot because of an error by the company contracted to print and mail them.
And the candidates sued to make sure that voters got the right ballots and that they were counted. Yesterday, both sides came to an agreement. If a voter returned only a corrected ballot, it will be counted. If a voter returned both the wrong and the corrected ballot, the corrected ballot will be the only one counted. And if a voter returned just the wrong ballot, the votes will be counted only for the race they would be eligible to vote in. This all comes on the heels of new corrected ballots being sent out with this orange strip on them. So if you get an orange striped ballot, fill it out, select your candidates, and mail it. The county released a statement about the agreement saying, in part, we are pleased that this waste of time and resources is behind us and that we can get back to the important work of ensuring a safe and accurate election process for all voters in Allegheny County. If you still plan to vote by mail, the deadline to request a ballot is tomorrow.
There are other Decision 2020 court cases we're keeping an eye on. On Friday, Pennsylvania's Republican Party asked the U.S. Supreme Court to block the ballot extension. The filing came 4 days after the divided justices cleared the way to allow counties to count mail-in ballots received up to 3 days after the election. In a separate case, the state Supreme Court ruled that mail-in ballots cannot be rejected if the voters' signatures do not match those on file. The League of Women Voters of Pennsylvania and Urban League of Greater Pittsburgh believe signature analysis is inconsistent and unfair to voters.
It's a fight to the finish this week in the race for the White House, the last full week for President Trump and Joe Biden to try to sway voters.
NBC's Tracy Potts joins us with a look ahead, plus the latest on a new coronavirus cluster surrounding Vice President Pence.
Final arguments.
Biden is the shutdown candidate.
The last big push.
What's up, Detroit?
Both presidential campaigns spending this last full week focusing on swing states.
When Donald Trump wins Florida big on election night, it's going to set the path for the rest of the night.
Democrats hoping to take back the Midwest.
It's such an uphill fight, but we're going to win it.
Driving voter turnout.
Why are so many powerful people trying to suppress our vote? Trying to confuse us about voting, messing with the post office.
President Trump weighing his chances by crowds, not polls.
It's like a poll, right? Except much more accurate.
Both campaigns kicking off the week with 60 Minutes interviews where President Trump walked out on Leslie Stahl.
That's enough. Let's go. Let's go.
And Joe Biden defended his tax plan.
And you think it's a good idea to raise taxes when the economy's in dire straits?
Depending who you're raising them on.
Decision 2020 nearing an end with indecision still in Washington on money to deal with the coronavirus economy.
And we'll have some answers on Monday.
5 people close to Vice President Pence have tested positive, including his chief of staff. But the White House says Pence, who's negative, won't quarantine because he's an essential worker. Tracy Potts, NBC News.
And you're looking live in Allentown, PA. President Donald Trump holding the first of 3 rallies he plans to attend today in Pennsylvania. Again, the first rally happening now in Allentown. The second is at the Lancaster Airport at 1:30, and the third rally is at the Altoona Blair County Airport. That event starts at 4:30. The Biden campaign will hold an online event today. That event starts at 5:30. There will be a number of speakers encouraging people to vote early. You can RSVP for the event online.
Pre-election voting this year has now surpassed numbers from 2016. In 2016, about 58 million Americans cast ballots early. This year's total is just above that, with 8 days to go until Election Day. CNN, Edison Research, and Catalyst compiled those numbers in a survey. It indicates just over half the people who voted already did so in the 16 most competitive states.
Allegheny County sent us the number of ballots that were returned yesterday, and this is a breakdown. The county said they had nearly 9,000 ballots returned at all of their locations, and that makes for a weekend total of nearly 19,000 ballots.
Now at the Senate chamber, where Supreme Court Justice nominee Amy Coney Barrett is just hours away from getting confirmed to the High Court. Channel 11's Samantha Manning joins us from the Capitol, where senators are expected to make the final vote this evening.
Senate Democrats are holding an hours-long talk-a-thon here at the U.S. Capitol. They're here speaking out against confirming Judge Amy Coney Barrett. Democrats wanted the vote pushed back until after the presidential election, but Republicans have been moving forward anyway. Democrats argue Republicans have rushed the process so that Barrett can be on the bench when the Supreme Court hears a constitutional challenge to the Affordable Care Act. Republicans have defended her confirmation process, calling Barrett a highly qualified judge, while Democrats have spent the overnight hours and this morning expressing their concerns about the potential impact on health care.
The health insurance industry would be upended by the elimination of ACA requirements. Insurers in many markets could deny coverage or charge higher premiums to people with pre-existing conditions.
None of the baseless allegations that have been leveled against Judge Barrett have swayed any votes. Democrats didn't lay a glove on Judge Barrett in her confirmation hearings.
The final vote is expected to happen this evening around dinner time. Barrett's confirmation will give the High Court a 6-3 conservative majority. In Washington, Samantha Manning, Channel 11 News.
A crash on the Parkway West during the morning rush hour left a car in a creek. Police think that car ended up partially underwater. It was actually trying to avoid another accident. Fortunately, everyone is okay. Channel 11's Alyssa Raymond was at the scene and walks us through what happened.
Here's what they think happened out here. There were two cars that hit into each other. A third car was trying to avoid that fender bender, ended up hitting into this guardrail and ended up down in that creek. The accident happened around 7 this morning right outside the Fort Pitt tunnel along the Parkway West. Channel 11 was there as rescue crews pulled the driver up the hill. They say he was talking. We spoke with one of the people who was in one of the other cars that got hit.
And he just hit the back of our car. So our car went in the bridge. Some cars hit the wall, which we hit the wall as well. And it was like our car almost, like if he wouldn't stop, our car would have been down there with that one as well.
While we were out here, we spoke to a couple who saw the whole thing happen. Later tonight on Channel 11, you'll hear from them about why they decided to go down that hill and help. Reporting from right outside the Fort Pitt tunnel, Alyssa Raymond, Channel 11 News.
A police officer from New Kensington is off the job after he was arrested on assault charges. Officer Joseph Martino is accused of beating up a woman early Saturday in Squirrel Hill. The woman claims they got into an argument while driving and says Marino hit her in the face about 20 times. The woman says she ran to Children's Hospital to get help. The police chief in New Kensington tells us he is aware of the situation and that his department is investigating.
New at noon, work is underway to redevelop a stretch of riverfront property. It will include housing, businesses, and green space. But as Channel 11's Mike Holden learned, that's just the beginning.
It is a major makeover happening right here at the Hazelwood Green site. Developers have a big, bright vision for its future, and they believe that they will maintain the historic aspect while welcoming new people to come to the space. Channel 11 got a hard hat tour of the renovations of the roundhouse at Hazelwood Green. Crews are working to redevelop the former 10-bay roundhouse where they used to stabilize and work on train engines. It was originally built by the Monongahela Connecting Railroad back in 1887. The historic space is well known to many. It was previously owned by Jones and Laughlin Steel and LTV Steel. Developers are hoping to transform it. The ultimate goal is to turn the 178 acres of riverfront property into green space, housing, and businesses. Today, they announced major plans to launch One Valley's Pittsburgh Innovation Center in the Roundhouse. It will welcome students, small businesses, and community members to participate in workshops and other learning initiatives. Officials say once it completes, it will have something for everyone.
I think there will be a real dialogue, and I think the kind of inspiration that comes from the people who are here really developing innovations for the future generations, and the people within the community who have such wonderful ideas.
And this part of the project right here will be completed by spring of 2021. I'm now talking with developers and architects about the biggest challenges of this project and maintaining the historic aspects. For Channel 11 News starting at 5 o'clock tonight. Reporting in Hazelwood, Mike Holden, Channel 11 News.
The massive effort taking place right now to make sure taking a COVID-19 vaccine doesn't pass along other illnesses.
And the types of items stores hope holiday shoppers will give a second look at this season.
On Channel 11 Morning News, we tell you what's new, what's happening now, and what's next.
News stories with new details.
Breaking stories, updated all morning, and developing stories to prepare you for what's next on Channel 11 Morning News.
Weeknights on MeTV. Watch The Flintstones at 6, Happy Days at 6:30, and MASH at 7.
You can find MeTV on Comcast 190, 207, or 1169, and on these and other providers.
Watch Channel 11 News at 6.
Followed by NBC Nightly News at 6:30.
Prices at the pump continue to fall, and the pandemic is one reason. But as we enter the winter months, look for prices to fall even more. That's because so many people have little to no extra money for travel and entertainment right now. The average price in southwestern PA is $2.47. That's still above the national average, but almost 30 cents lower than last year.
The holiday shopping rush is already underway, and stores are hoping that consumers scoop up the season's hottest items.
But coronavirus has had an impact on the supply chain, making some items harder to find. NBC's Dan Shedabit explains how some retailers are trying to make up for the shortfall.
It wasn't long ago that refurbished or open box items got a bad rap for being shoddy, second-hand items.
The bar is actually much higher for refurbishing than it is for manufacturing.
Sender Shamas is the CEO of GoTRG, a reverse logistics company that provides retailers and manufacturers a streamlined process for returned or damaged inventory. Refurbished can mean a product that was either broken or roughed up a little, but it could also mean an item someone decided they didn't want anymore.
And we handle thousands of vendors and manufacturers and distributors.
GoTRG processes over 1 million items each week.
People think that what's bought in a store or online usually ends up back on the shelf, and that's the furthest thing away from the truth.
Once returns hit the warehouse, turnaround time is pretty quick.
Approximately 7 days to process these goods. We've done in as little as 3 days.
Like new items are then made available on the secondary market.
So we have brands like VIP Outlet, thestore.com. There's wholesale brands like directliquidation.com, but we sell a lot on eBay, Amazon, Walmart Marketplace.
Buying a refurbished product can save money compared to buying it new.
Consumers are price sensitive and they will take advantage of a deal if they find one.
Giving a product a second life instead of sending it off to be recycled. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
If you're looking for a job, Chipotle is hiring about 200 new employees across the area. Today is hiring day. You can stop by any local Chipotle from 2 to 5 this afternoon.
The Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank is hosting a drive-up distribution today in Duquesne. It runs until 2 p.m. at their location on North Linden Street. Each car will get a share of food. They recommend you make a reservation, though, if you plan to go. Costco is leading the way when it comes to at-home COVID tests. They are selling saliva test kits online only. They cost $129. You should get results 1 to 3 days after it arrives at the lab. Customers can buy an upgraded test that comes with a video observer to make sure you do it correctly. Right now, Pennsylvania, though, is one of 3 states where the tests are not available.
Firefighters in Colorado are breathing a sigh of relief after snow started falling in the fire zones. The firefighters have been battling some of the worst fires in the state's history, including the East Troublesome Fire. But the white stuff is helping a lot to calm those flames. Many parts of the state that were under mandatory evacuation have rolled back to voluntary evacuations. However, fire officials are trying to warn people to remain alert.
Don't unpack. Keep your car, keep all that stuff that you put together. You probably recognize some items you wish you had had. This is your chance to get them.
The East Troublesome Fire has burned more than 192,000 acres. It's partially contained, and fire officials say it's growing slower than it had been.
If you live in Butler and you need to get rid of leaves, and who doesn't, there are some options available. Residents can take their leaves to Butler Memorial Park's leaf dump. Today, through the end of the week, Butler Township residents will have bagged leaves collected from the curb. Leaves should be placed in biodegradable bags.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
Well, good afternoon. Taking a look at our visible satellite, we have an overcast sky outside. You could just see all of that white shaded color moving across the screen. That is the thick cloud cover and the view from space looking down at our clouds from above. So certainly going to be a cloudy day today, very gloomy. The temperatures are in the mid-upper 50s out east in Greensburg at 57, Indiana the same, but cooler in Pittsburgh because we have been dealing with that drizzle. So that is where you have the very fine rain, that fine precipitation where you're most likely using the windshield wipers intermittently, and we're going to be dealing with that at times today. So if you're out walking the dog here this afternoon, well, it's going to be a cool day. Temperatures will only climb to the middle 50s, I think, here in Pittsburgh. And we are looking at pockets of drizzle as well as some spotty light showers through the rest of the afternoon. As for tonight, we're going to have a few showers around and or some drizzle. The temperature down to about 43 degrees and the wind will stay light out of the north-northwest, right around 3 to 8 miles per hour. I want to show you the forecast for tomorrow. It's going to be another cool day. You can see the temperatures right around 44 at 8 o'clock, 49 at noon, and we'll reach highs near 50 in the afternoon tomorrow. Once again, we are looking at overcast sky for the day on Tuesday and also some spotty rain as well as some drizzle once again on Tuesday. Here's a look at my latest storm tracker maps. 4 o'clock this afternoon. See a little bit of green showing up in Westmoreland and Fayette counties. We are going to be looking at that spotty rain and some drizzle in spots here for the rest of the day. A few showers passing through overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning, and then we're going to be quieting things down, I think, for the most part as we head into Tuesday, although there could be some areas of drizzle. So while we're not seeing some widespread scattered showers like we had out there this morning, we are looking at that threat for drizzle and just that overcast sky. So some very low clouds in the atmosphere for the morning tomorrow, and we'll keep that chance of some drizzle into the afternoon once again on Tuesday, perhaps a spotty shower or two. But I don't think we're going to see much in the way of widespread precipitation in terms of any measurable amounts of rain for Tuesday. Here's a look at our rainfall forecast. Wednesday is dry. Thursday, widespread rain, and Thursday's rain could be heavy. I am tracking a couple of different things that are going to come together to lead us to getting heavy rainfall on Thursday. So I'm going to show you what is going to be causing the heavy rain and how much I think we're going to see. That'll be coming up in my forecast in the next half hour. In the meantime, our 5-day forecast, their weekend always in view. 52 on Tuesday goes to 58 Wednesday. It'll be a partly sunny and mostly cloudy sky for us. Here comes the heavy rain on Thursday with a high of 55 down to 39 into Friday morning, and Friday's high only in the mid 40s. The good news is the weather pattern is shaping up for Halloween to stay dry after a wet week ahead. And then Sunday, we're going to be bringing in another shot at some showers coming in toward the evening with that high temperature of 56.
Thanks, Danielle. A drone caught a close call off the coast of Australia. This footage shows 2 sharks feeding on a school of salmon. The swimmers above the predators appeared unaware of the danger lurking nearby. They were taking a morning dip at a beach in Sydney when this video was shot and got back to shore okay. Lucky for them, Australia has recorded at least 21 shark attacks in 2020.
These are people who started with us in 2020 and won't be with us at the Thanksgiving table.
A record-breaking weekend and tough days still to come. How the nation's health experts and families are dealing with a surge in COVID-19 cases.
Spreading paint and hope, the message behind a local mural project.
Channel 11 Morning News brings you what's happening now.
This will likely have a major impact on voters.
Pittsburgh Public is moving forward with a return to in-person learning.
What's new?
Channel 11 has followed a growing crisis at area nursing homes.
I just got an update on cases at Westmoreland Manor.
And what's next?
We're going to be calling them today, following up on this story all day long today.
When you will see the arrival of the rain in your neighborhood and the impact it will have on your day.
Count on Channel 11 News for live coverage every morning. Watch Catherine Amenta and Gordon Lesh on Channel 11 Morning News.
New at noon, federal health officials are investigating a deadly listeria outbreak. They think it's possibly linked to deli meat. According to the CDC, there have been at least 10 reported cases from Florida, Massachusetts, and New York. All were hospitalized. One death has been reported. The agency says deli meat is the likely source of the outbreak. However, a specific type of deli meat and the supplier have not yet been identified. The final mural focusing on change in our community is complete in the Strip District. It is dedicated to breast cancer victims and survivors. People from around the community were able to be a part of that painting, putting their messages of hope on the mural. This is part of Pittsburgh's Solidarity for Change, focused on creating peaceful ways of expressing inequality in our community.
Getting people to come out, paint with us, and spread love, unity, learning about diversity and everything, and just making some art.
Organizers say the event was therapeutic for both the artists and the volunteers.
It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and this year there's a brand new machine for cancer screenings that doctors say is painless. Dr. Gerald Grubbs says women are sometimes asked to return for follow-up imaging, but 75% of women don't go back because it can hurt. Dr. Grubbs calls this new 3D breast imaging machine the most compassionate way to screen for cancer.
There's nothing unpleasant about the experience. For screening mammograms, they typically take about 30 minutes to do. You are in and out of this room in barely over 5 minutes.
The 3D isotropic breast imaging costs less than a traditional mammogram and is covered by insurance. There are 3 being used in the U.S.
A party near Penn State is getting a lot of attention. What the dean says could happen soon if students don't knock it off.
An investigation is underway in Westmoreland County. The ballot problem officials are trying to solve.
Hey, what's up, Pittsburgh? It's me, Kelly Clarkson. Join me every weekday at 1 p.m. right here on Channel 11 for The Kelly Clarkson Show. Season 2 is full of your favorite stars in film, TV, and music, and everyday heroes in your community. See you at 1, y'all.
Need an umbrella? Should you grab a coat? What about those weekend plans? Watch Chief Meteorologist Stephen Cropper.
Headed out tomorrow, the temperature will be warming up.
Scott Harbaugh, Danielle Dozier, and Jessica Faith. Count on Severe Weather Team 11.
Watch The Kelly Clarkson Show weekdays at 1 p.m. right here on Channel 11.
Westmoreland County elections officials say an investigation is underway to determine why some voters received duplicate ballots in the mail. They do not believe the issue was related to errors made by the Ohio firm hired to print and send out those ballots. It's unclear how many voters received duplicates, but officials say if you did get 2 ballots, just send in 1. And they say if somebody does fill out both, they do have safeguards in place to make sure that only 1 is accepted.
This election is setting records at the post office. Not only are they seeing a record number of mail-in ballots, but each day mail carriers in Western PA deliver 1.5 pieces of campaign mailers. This year, the volume of political mail is unusually high. Some days, the mail delivered is nearly double what is seen on a typical day. When compared to 2016, delivery of campaign flyers is up 162%.
The Centers for Disease Control has released safety tips to help lessen the spread of COVID-19 for people who plan to vote in person. And among the recommendations, obviously wearing a mask, maintaining distance from others, washing hands before and after casting ballots. And the CDC is also recommending that you bring your own supplies like a pen, tissues, and hand sanitizer to avoid contracting or spreading the virus. And lastly, the CDC wants you to try to limit your time at the polls.
Severe Weather Team 11 meteorologist Danielle Dozier joining us now.
And Danielle, a really cloudy, drizzly start to the work week.
Yeah, for sure we had a few scattered showers out there this morning, and right now I'm tracking an overcast sky. You know, we just looked at this tower cam a few minutes ago, and you really had a hard time seeing downtown because of the drizzle that we had overhead. Looks like that is beginning to lift just a little bit, but I'm still keeping that in the forecast from time to time today, as well as some spotty light showers as you see through eastern Allegheny County, portions of Armstrong and Westmoreland County. A little bit of light green showing up in these areas around Elizabeth. Just the theme today is gloomy, and if you're heading out, I would have your umbrella in case you run into some of this spotty rain and or drizzle today. High temperature about 55, west-northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Still to come, we are going to be looking at a tropical cyclone that'll influence our weather later on in the week and also bring us some potential heavy rainfall. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
This weekend, the U.S. saw the highest number of COVID cases nationwide yet. And while more testing explains some of the increase, the heartache families and frontline workers are feeling is very real. NBC's Sam Brock reports.
As COVID cases climb, communities are reeling. Illinois recording record numbers, reckoning with 9,500 deaths.
These are mothers and fathers and grandparents, our co-workers. It's overwhelming.
Dr. Ngozi Ezike, the Illinois State Health Director, describing what led to this moment.
These are people who started with us in 2020 and won't be with us at the Thanksgiving table.
When her attempt to address surging infections ended in tears.
Excuse me, please.
What was it when you were listing those updated figures that for you really struck a chord?
I mean, it has to just be a culmination of all the anxiety and the despair and the sadness from the hundreds and hundreds of emails that I've just gotten in the last 24 hours. It sounds like everybody needed to have that release together.
Ezike says much of the state is struggling, and Chicago is flirting with tighter restrictions like closing down bars. 30 minutes outside the Windy City, Lynn Doulis lost her husband Vasilios to COVID.
Our family's devastated. And it's not the grief, it's not losing a person, because people die every single day. It's losing a person to COVID.
Across the nation, the virus trends triggering alarm bells. 43 states and D.C. are now up at least 10% in the last 2 weeks, with Michigan also breaking case records.
No one wants to see us take steps backwards, but if COVID is growing uncontrolled across our state, that will be necessary.
The battle against COVID canvassing the Northeast, too, where New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts just notched numbers not seen since May, even if some are skeptical.
So when people tell me, it's going up, it's spiking, I don't buy it.
But urgent state measures, all too real. The Texas governor just requesting the feds turn an active duty military medical center into a hospital for non-COVID patients, as nearby healthcare centers are overwhelmed.
Now, Sam Brock reporting while the number of cases rises, UNICEF is working to make sure more people get a vaccine when it's developed.
That's right. Right now, it is concentrating on the areas most in need, and the plan involves stockpiling more than 500 million syringes by the end of the year. They say that's to make sure people aren't reusing needles and are not being exposed to bloodborne diseases.
When you then push the plunger down after you've delivered the dose, if you try and you break the syringe. So you can only use it once.
UNICEF says it will distribute these syringes to areas most in need. So far, though, locations have not been announced.
And investigation is underway after a deadly ATV crash in Lawrence County. Daniel Abersold was riding with his son in Hillsville Quarry Saturday when police say they rolled over and Abersold died. It has been a dangerous year for ATVs. State police investigated more than 100 so far this year. Crashes, I should say, this year. At least 6 people have died. Troopers say several crashes involved children.
A man is in critical condition after a shooting in Homewood just before 8 last night when police were called to a shot spotter alert along Frankstown Avenue. They found evidence of the shooting there. The victim was found around the corner on Blackador Street. He had been shot several times in the chest. So far, though, no one has been arrested.
Game day celebrations at Penn State are under investigation. It comes after claims that large tailgating parties were not following COVID-19 guidelines. Video of this large viewing party was posted on Instagram. Hundreds gathered with no masks in the courtyard of a State College apartment building. Borough police confirmed they are investigating several gatherings. In the past week, Penn State reported 108 new COVID cases. The school president previously threatened to go to remote learning if students didn't stop partying in large numbers. Saturday saw the return of Big Ten football. The Nittany Lions were upset by Indiana. Next week, Happy Valley will be featured on ESPN's College Game Day when they host Ohio State. Officials say no fans or students are allowed near the set.
And there were no reports of any large parties during this weekend's Pitt game when they hosted Notre Dame. Right now, 17 students, though, are in isolation housing after 10 new cases were reported last week. Pitt is doing random tests on several hundred students each week. Their positivity rate does remain under 1%.
Some students in the Plum School District will learn remotely after 2 staff members tested positive for COVID-19. According to the Trib, O Block Junior High School will stay closed for 2 weeks. A high school student tested positive on Friday, and staff members at the high school tested positive this weekend. 24 people who came in close contact with the staffers will quarantine for 14 days. Yawk Intermediate is also closed after another COVID-19 case. All students will learn online through Friday. School officials say a second staff member has tested positive for COVID-19 in less than 2 weeks. Parents, do you know what your kids are watching online? The new survey that found it could be bad for their health.
Channel 11 News digs deeper.
With so much at stake in this election, we are bringing you Team Decision 2020 coverage at 6.
Incorrect ballots being sent out, naked ballots being submitted, phones ringing off the hook.
A lot of people are asking the same question. Where is my mail-in ballot?
We want to make sure that your vote counts here on Channel 11 News.
There have been issues and delays with tens of thousands of ballots. We came out to the headquarters here in Cleveland to get answers from Midwest Direct.
Count on Channel 11 News.
Nobody can read between the lines like Judge Judy.
Just 5 days after announcing his retirement, coal giant Robert Murray passed away. Murray was known throughout the Ohio Valley as a coal miner, job creator, and philanthropist. He founded Murray Energy and was its CEO until recently. In 2016, he was diagnosed with pulmonary fibrosis. It's a disease found frequently in coal miners. Robert Murray was 80 years old. Murray Energy emerged from bankruptcy protection last month under a new name, United Consolidated Natural Resources.
Funeral directors hit the streets of Philadelphia to bring attention to gun violence, drug addiction, and the COVID-19 pandemic. About 50 hearses joined the caravan yesterday. There have been nearly 400 murders in the city this year.
It's very traumatizing. It's very difficult to begin the healing process when we have this much violence.
Organizers say they're working on other initiatives as well, including using limousines and other vehicles to give people rides to the polls on Election Day.
Okay, this just happened. Now, what am I going to do?
A high schooler gets a real-life lesson in the law, the legal win he just scored.
And an update to the tropics and how a system will impact our weather going forward, and your Halloween forecast. Stick with us.
Channel 11 News and NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
We're a team you can count on to cover stories that impact your life,
whether it's across the street or around the world.
Channel 11 News at 6.
And NBC Nightly News at 6:30.
You're streaming WPXI Now, your source for breaking news, weather, and original local shows. Murder, mystery, and the missing. Justice Rules profiles real-life crime stories. Tuesdays at 9 p.m. right here on WPXI Now.
What's new?
What's now and what's next every morning
on Channel 11 Morning News.
Millions of Americans continue to struggle because of the pandemic. But as our consumer advisor Clark Howard explains, there are signs that things could get back to normal quickly.
This has been the oddest recession ever, with some people doing extremely well right now who've held their jobs. They're not doing the things they normally do, so they're building up savings, paying down debt. Other people, 60+ million at some point, have lost their jobs this year. They're struggling. They may even be searching for a good supply of food. It's what economists call the K recovery. And so the reality is, once the dust clears from coronavirus and we can start resuming normal life, the economy will actually recover quite well because of the people who built up a lot of extra money. They're sitting there with this money in savings, and they're going to be able to pump it into the economy once they feel comfortable going out to restaurants again, going to travel, visiting other people. The economy that right now is stuck in a low gear will come back. As for people who've lost their jobs and have suffered, part of the recovery will come from the people who aren't suffering, putting money back to work. I'm Clark Howard.
Google has rolled out a new price tracking tool for online holiday shoppers this year. The tool compares your item to other prices from the internet and in nearby stores, and lets you see whether the price for an item is high, low, or typical. The site also shows you whether curbside or in-store pickup is available. And if you're not ready to buy, you can also track the pricing on items. More Americans are planning to buy the new iPhone compared to last year, according to WalletHub's new 2020 iPhone survey. 44% more Americans plan to get the iPhone 12. The latest version officially went on sale Friday. The Pro model starts at $1,000. According to the survey, about 73% more people think this new iPhone is worth going into debt for. That's primarily because they are 5G capable.
Parents, here's something to keep in mind when your kids are online. A new study from NYU shows many online kid influencers promote junk food in their videos. Researchers looked into content from the 5 most watched kid influencers on YouTube in 2019, and they found 43% of those videos, which got 1 billion views, endorsed food or beverages, and 90% of those products were considered to be unhealthy.
A drive-by giant pumpkin exhibit is now underway in Pittsburgh. The display is happening in Gold Lot 1A in front of Heinz Field. Because of the pandemic, the event is drive-by only this year. The display extends nearly a half football field. You can check it out for free until 6 tonight, and it will be up through November 5th.
Your severe winter Team 11 forecast.
Back with the check of the visibility right now in Pittsburgh. It's 10 miles. We've begun to see that drizzle and that fog kind of lift just a little bit here, at least in the city for now. But still a 6-mile visibility in Washington. A little bit of gray area up there in Clarion County, so most likely some drizzle, some light rain in that area. We will be dealing with this on and off throughout the day today, and the temperatures are only going to be in the 50s for highs. Right now we're at 50 degrees in Pittsburgh. It's a little bit milder in Greensburg and Indiana, 54 out in Beaver, and 53 degrees in Washington. So we're reaching highs in the mid-50s today. Tonight's going to be a chilly night, down to about 40 in Butler, 43 in Pittsburgh, 44 in Uniontown, and 45 degrees in Morgantown. Here's a look at our morning planner. Tomorrow, temperature at 7 o'clock near 44. The 8 o'clock temperature is also 44. We're going to have an overcast sky overnight tonight and once again into tomorrow. So unfortunately, another gloomy day is in store. What I'm tracking tonight is a chance for some drizzle, some fog, some spotty light rain as well. I think some more scattered showers, though, around 10 to 11 p.m. I'll show you that in a second. But then into tomorrow morning we go, and we're looking at a little bit of fog and some drizzle. So tomorrow, 52 degrees, light and variable winds, that fog and drizzle in the morning, as I mentioned. Spotty rain throughout the day is possible, but we're going to have another round of showers, it looks like, coming in for Tuesday, late afternoon and into the evening. Let's sum it all up for you here on our storm tracker map. So later on this afternoon, some spotty light rain. You can see that showing up in green. We're also going to be having some areas of drizzle. Once we get into late tonight, and it looks like another round of showers will be moving through. Then we quiet the showers down, but I still think we're going to have some of that fog and some drizzle out there for your Tuesday morning commute. So visibility could be reduced. Spotty rain, as you see, throughout the afternoon Tuesday. But then by late afternoon and evening, we have another round of showers, it appears, that will be moving through our area. And this is a look at 5 p.m. So umbrellas in order for sure once again on your Tuesday, and Tuesday's going to be another cool day with temperatures only near 50. Check this out. We've got a series of low pressure systems that will be impacting our weather as we head into Thursday. What's happening is we have a strong low pressure system right now out in the plains that is bringing a lot of ice to Oklahoma. That storm system's pretty strong, and that's this low pressure right there. So that's going to be coming across here, and then we have another low, which is actually going to be the remnants of Zeta, which is a tropical cyclone that is hitting the Yucatan throughout the day today. So these are going to kind of merge and bring a lot of moisture to our area as we head into Thursday. And some computer weather models show that we could see up to about 1 inch of rain. As far as Halloween, though, goes, it's looking dry. So the weather systems kick out of here, and it's going to be chilly as well. 7 o'clock temperature rate around 49 degrees for those of you out trick-or-treating. 5-day forecast, 52 Tuesday, 58 Wednesday. That's the pick day of the week to get outside because that heavy rain moves in Thursday. We're going to have some showers around once again Friday. That weather system will finally depart. Dry for Saturday, but more showers return as we head into Sunday evening, and lows are actually going to be cooling down quite a bit into the mid-30s over the weekend.
A high schooler in Florida is in trouble for his truck. Check it out. Tyler Maxwell lost his parking pass after he drove to school with an elephant statue painted with Trump on the side. He was told, go home, come back without it. Well, he returned the next day and the statue was still in the truck bed. So the school revoked Tyler's parking decal. A judge, though, granted a temporary restraining order in his case. That means Tyler can return to his school parking lot with his Donald Trump elephant statue.
It's a big victory in as much as it's important that courts uphold First Amendment rights consistently. It's big in that the court moved very swiftly to tell this school that what it did was wrong or will likely be held to be wrong and to correct that.
An attorney for the school board said Maxwell's elephant violates a school policy that prohibits political activities.
On the road to recovery, the big improvements the local high schoolers making after a health scare.
And here's local Steals and Deals' Lisa Robertson.
I have, interestingly enough, one of my new favorite things. This is Calming Heat by Sharper Image, and it does so much more than a regular heating pad. And at first I thought, yeah. And then I tried it and I went, oh, yeah. So here's the deal. Number one, it's a heating pad, right? If you have aches and pains, you overdid it, your back, your shoulders, your knees, right? There's nothing better than a heating pad, but most heating pads just kind of sit there. This one drapes over and it has weight. It's filled with these weighted clay beads, so the heat really absorbs and you feel the heat so much more. It makes such a difference. And I love that. But it also has, wait for it, because here's the cool part, massage. Now I have 3 different settings for heat, 3 different settings for massage, and by the way, automatic timer turnoffs for the massage and the heat, so you're good with safety. Because of the fact that it's a great size, when you put it over your shoulder, it covers a lot of your shoulder. If you put it on your back, it covers a lot of your back. When I put it on my lap, down my legs when I'm watching TV, it covers a lot of space. So this is one of those things that can just be calming and soothing at the end of a long day, or just because it's that Zen moment when it's cold outside and you're toasty, warm, and massaged inside. It's Calming Heat by Sharper Image. I love the concept. And by the way, 20% off on localsteals.com.
On Channel 11 Morning News, we bring you what's new, what's happening now, and what's next.
That means our newsroom is always searching for new details and new stories. It also means breaking. If it's happening now, I'm on it, bringing you live updates from the breaking news desk.
Our crews know the mission too.
Brand new confirmed information. I'm going to bring that to you live.
Preparing you for what happens next. How will news stories, weather, and traffic affect your day?
What's new, what's now, and what's next every morning on Channel 11 Morning News.
When you want news from where you live,
Watch Channel 11 News at 5.
making a difference in our community by honoring those affected by the Tree of Life tragedy. That was 2 years ago tomorrow. 2 community service projects were held yesterday, one benefiting a neighborhood food pantry, the other to clean up a local cemetery. The people participating told us this is one way they can help honor the people who were killed.
So there's an anticipated 500 participants coming out in Unity today to honor the 11 victims of the shooting. Here in the garden, one of my favorite ways to honor lives lost is to plant. So today we're also planting some perennial ornamental bulbs, which will come back year after year to beautify the space with some color.
And you can learn more about how Pittsburgh will remember the Tree of Life tragedy right now on our WPXI News app. A high school football player who collapsed on the field is making huge strides in his road to recovery. With the help of therapists, Johnny Hubel has been able to stand and walk. The Erie McDowell senior collapsed last month. He had to undergo 2 brain surgeries. He continues physical and speech therapy at a Pittsburgh hospital. The hashtag 23Strong is being used to raise money for the family. That's all for Channel 11 News at noon.
Our next newscast is tonight at 5. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Hey! Attention, all personnel. We got to nip it! Go on.